Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar, Navigating Holiday Chaos, Communication Strategies to Reduce Stress and Strengthen Relationships. I'm thrilled you're here with us today. This session is specifically designed for property management professionals who want to thrive, not just survive, during the busiest time of year. Let's be honest. The holidays are a double-edged sword, aren't they? Yes, there's celebration and joy, but there's also chaos, heightened emotions, and the never-ending inbox overload that seems to multiply during this season. Today's focus is simple but powerful, helping you and your team stay calm, clear, and connected when everything around you feels like it's spinning out of control. We're going to cover three essential tools. First, setting boundaries and expectations before burnout hits. Second, navigating those difficult conversations with confidence. And third, using the Eisenhower matrix to prioritize your communication strategically rather than reactively. By the end of this, you'll have practical frameworks you can implement today. Let's dive into our first pillar, setting boundaries and expectations. Our key concept here combines the book Radical Candor with what I call clarity before conflict. Here's why this matters. Misaligned expectations cause the most holiday stress. Not the workload itself, but the confusion about who's responsible for what, when things will happen, when people will respond, and how to escalate when problems arise. So, what are your action steps? There's three things I want to give you. First, define your holiday response times clearly. Will you respond within 24 hours? 48? Make it explicit. Make it yours, but make sure people know. Second, set clear escalation paths. Your team, your clients, and your tenants need to know exactly what to do when there's a true emergency versus a routine issue. They also need to know how you define those things. Third, send proactive communication. Don't wait for people to ask. Tell them upfront about office closures, maintenance delays, and emergency contacts. And I love this quote from Brene Brown that captures it perfectly. Clear is kind. Unclear is unkind. Remember, boundaries aren't walls that shut people out. They're agreements that actually protect and strengthen relationships. When everyone knows the rules of engagement, trust goes up and stress goes down. Moving on to our second pillar, navigating difficult conversations. When you're facing difficult conversations, and let's be real, you will, especially during the holidays, I want you to remember the CALM framework. C, clarify the issue. Don't assume you know what's wrong. Ask questions and make sure you understand the real problem. A, acknowledge emotion. If someone is upset or angry or frustrated, I hear you, I hear how frustrated you are, goes a long way. L, lay out facts. Once you've acknowledged their feelings, ground conversations in objective information and data. What actually happened? What are the problems? What are the options we have? M, maintain professionalism. That doesn't mean being cold, it means being steady, reliable, and solution focused, even when emotions are high. Let me give you an example. Imagine you get a heated call from a tenant about repairs during holidays. You use calm to clarify what specific repair they're concerned about, acknowledge their frustration during about the timing, lay out the facts about vendor availability and holiday schedules, and maintain your professionalism by offering the best path forward given the circumstances. This framework keeps you grounded when conversations get difficult. Our third pillar, maintaining professionalism and empathy. Here's something I want you to really internalize. Professionalism isn't about being robotic. It's about being reliable and emotionally steady. The best property managers I know have mastered this balance. They're warm and human, but they're also consistent and trustworthy. Let me show you a simple phrase swap that demonstrates this beautifully. Instead of saying, I'm sorry, I'll fix it right now when something goes wrong, which often overpromises and can sound panicked, try this. I see how frustrating that can be. Here's what we can do about it today. Notice the difference? You're acknowledging their emotion, you're being realistic about timing, and you're focused on solutions, not the problem. That's the sweet spot. And here's a reflection question I want you to think about. Maybe even write down after this session. How do you want people to feel after talking to your team? Because the feeling, whether it's reassured, frustrated, confused, or well taken care of, that's your brand. That's how people remember you. Now for our fourth and final pillar, streamlining your communication. We talk about this a lot, but here's the game changer for managing holiday communication, the Eisenhower matrix. This is a prioritization tool that's been around for a long time. It helps you respond intentionally instead of reactively. It also helps get your team on the same page about what's important. Here's how it works. Every message, task, to-do, or problem that comes across your desk gets comes in and gets categorized into one of four quadrants. The top left, urgent and important, do it now. This is your emergency maintenance call, your upset owner, or your locked out tenant. Drop everything and respond personally. Top right, not urgent, but important. Schedule. Updating your processes, working on templates and automations, planning team one-on-ones and retreats. It matters. It's strategic work, but it doesn't have to happen right now. Put it on your calendar and make sure it gets done after the holidays. To the bottom left, urgent but not important. Delegate. This is a great opportunity for you to bring your team in and delegate and teach them how to do the pieces that you want. Vendor updates, tenant reminders, these feel urgent because someone's asking for them, but they don't require your personal attention. Pass them to a team member and make sure that they get done. Bottom right, not urgent and not important. Duplicate messages, spam emails, things that you just don't need to do right now. Maybe they need to be done at some point and they actually need to get scheduled. But if you don't need to schedule them and nobody else needs to do them, get rid of them. Let them go. The matrix helps you protect your time and energy for what actually moves the needle. Let me make this concrete with a real example you probably faced. A water leak call at 6 p.m. Unfortunately, that's urgent and important. You need to respond now. You need to make sure that the vendor is handled. You also need to know who is communicating with people and how they're communicating with people. One thing I see very often is people will go into the holiday schedule knowing what needs to get done, but not who's doing it. It turns into a ping pong game of, I thought you were handling that, or I thought you were responding to that email. An owner requesting a rent roll on Christmas Eve, important, but not urgent. The best thing you could do is point them in the direction of how they could access that information themselves. But worst case scenario, you just respond a couple days later. Just because they sent it on Christmas Eve doesn't make it an emergency. And just because an owner's the one that sent it also does not make it an emergency. A tenant requesting information about a holiday event or someone scheduling a showing. That's not important. Somebody else can manage it. Somebody else on your team should be managing it, so make sure you delegate it. And if it's really not important, eliminate it. Here's the mantra I want you to remember. If everything isn't urgent, nothing is prioritized. When you treat every request as urgent, you burn out your team and you actually delay responses to the things that truly matter. The matrix gives you opportunity and permission to prioritize strategically. So, how do you actually implement this into your day-to-day operations? When messages come in, train yourself and your team to ask two simple questions. Is this urgent? Is it important? Those two questions tell you exactly which quadrant you're in. Now, here's how to train your team to triage together. First, tag or categorize messages and work orders by quadrant in your CRM or system. Make it visual. Some teams use color coding, red for urgent and important, blue for important but not urgent, and so on. Second, include and establish clear rules. Urgent and important gets a personal response. Make sure everybody's using the same rules. The key is consistency. When everyone on your team uses the same framework, you build a communication culture that's both responsive and sustainable. Let's recap the 4 pillars of holiday communication. Pillar 1, set expectations early. Right now, we're 2 weeks out from Thanksgiving. That's a great opportunity to go ahead and post your office hours, put it in your email signature, and let everyone know. Be proactive with your boundaries and communication before chaos hits. Pillar 2, stay calm in hard conversations. Use the calm framework to navigate difficult moments with confidence. Pillar 3, lead with empathy and professionalism. You can be warm and reliable at the same time. Pillar 4, use systems to manage overwhelm. The Eisenhower matrix keeps you strategic and not reactive. Now here's my challenge for you. What's one action you'll take before the new year? Maybe it's creating your holiday response time policy. Maybe it's training your team on the calm framework. Maybe it's setting up the matrix in your CRM. Pick one thing that will make this holiday season different from last year's chaos. I want to leave you with this final thought. You can't control the chaos, the unexpected maintenance emergencies, the last-minute tenant requests, the holiday schedule conflicts, but you can communicate and control how you communicate through it. And that makes all the difference. If your team could use help creating those templates, setting up systems, or building out your communication framework, that's exactly what we do at Process Architect. We help property management companies build processes that reduce stress and strengthen relationships. Thank you so much for being here today. I hope you have a smoother, calmer, and more connected holiday season. Take care.